so 19 hours of travel. We had a 16-hour bus ride from Kathmandu, then we took a 3-hour Jeep, actually 2 Jeeps, changed. Now we're in Ilam. Here's the room, and apparently it's like tea plantations or something.
Yeah.
Well, just laid down for a second and ended up sleeping like 2 hours. I guess I was pretty tired. So now we're gonna check out this tea plantation here in Ilam. Staying at the luxury hotel and lodge accommodations right by the bus park. So we chose to do the Kanchenjunga Trek as cheap as possible. It's one of the more expensive treks here. We tried to do it as cheap as possible. That's why we're taking buses and Jeeps and stuff like that. There is a flight you can take. So by not taking that flight, we're saving like 150 bucks a person, something like that. 139 bucks a person. But already we're pushing the boundaries of our budget, just a little bit over budget with this. It's about 50, almost 55 bucks a person per day for this. So, but you have to have a guide. A guide is mandatory because it's a restricted area. There's multiple permits you need to get because it's a restricted area. And then because it's restricted and it doesn't get as much traffic, there's everything's more expensive. The food's more expensive, the lodging's more expensive. Like when we did Annapurna, we didn't even have to pay for the lodging because the deal was if you ate your meals at the tea houses on the Annapurna circuit, you stay there for free. On this one, that's not the case. We're on the eastern side of Nepal, right along the border with India, with Sikkim and Darjeeling being just a little east of that border. And actually, the mountain that we're going to the base camp of, Kanchenjunga, the border actually goes like right down the middle of the mountain. So half of it is in India, this little sliver, this little eastern sliver that snakes up along the eastern side of Nepal. Ilam is actually home to Nepal's oldest tea estate. It was started in 1864 after a relative of the Prime Minister had visited Darjeeling and obviously started here, and eventually the Nepali government nationalized the tea estates, but then eventually in 1999 sold them off to an Indian company. So now an Indian company is running these tea estates. A lot of people have heard of Darjeeling tea. If you're perhaps a tea expert or tea connoisseur, maybe you've heard of Ilam tea, but you could see why it's a popular thing to grow here. It's at the same latitude, climate as Darjeeling, so obviously they're trying to build up that tea industry in this region of Nepal as well. The house where they make the tea, or the factory or whatever, is down in the valley, so you have to either hike down or probably take a bus or a Jeep down, which with the amount of travel we've done in the last 24 hours, that's not going to be happening today. And I most certainly am going to bed early tonight. Got another big day of travel, and then the real work starts. 5 to 6 hours a day of hiking, and I'm a little concerned because my bag is probably too heavy, but just gonna take one step at a time. Eat plenty of dal bhat. You'll be seeing plenty of videos of that. It's a traditional Nepali set meal with rice, potatoes, vegetables, and they kind of refill it as much as you want. So that's the cheap meal option here, and gonna need a lot of those carbs to fuel this epic trek up to the base camp of Kanchenjunga. This part of Ilam kind of reminds me of a town we were in over in like western central Nepal called Tanzin. We stopped off there between Lumbini and Pokhara. Just similar vibe, maybe just because it's hilly. It's a lot more hilly than most of the area of Kathmandu that we were in. Sam is a celebrity. Look at how radiant and glowing Sam is after 20-something hours of travel. You are amazing. How do you do it? What is your secret, man?
I grease myself with Crisco.
You grease yourself with Crisco? Wow. To
get this nice sheen.
That's why I get my sugar cookie.
And then I just perpetually, continuously throw dust and soot.
And smoke.
And then
garbage fire smoke.
I breathe in garbage fire smoke, and that really brings out the inner glow.
When do you plan on releasing this magical youth formula?
As soon as possible.
And your hair looks so beautiful and bouncy, yet so greasy as well. What is your magic secret for that?
You know, as my body releases the toxins of the heavy metals.
I don't think your body's releasing anything. Your body's like, yo, you're breathing this shit in now. This is our air. We're living on arsenic.
No. I hope in the mountains it's better air.
Infamous.